China's state broadcaster CCTV has criticized Western media for ignoring China's development and instead using India's overtaking of China as the world's most populous nation as a tool to badmouth China and advocate for decoupling. CCTV's commentary states that Western media's subtext implies China's development is in big trouble, but this is not the case, as China has sustained sustainable and stable economic development. CCTV further states that Western hype lacks a basic understanding of the law of population development and the challenges of decreasing birth rates and willingness to bear children faced by the whole world. The Chinese Foreign Ministry also emphasizes the importance of population quality, highlighting China's active measures to respond to population aging. A new study has found that extreme heat resulting from climate change is hampering India's efforts to reduce poverty, inequality, and illness, causing crop failures, school shutdowns, illness, and deaths. Since 1992, the heat waves have caused more than 24,000 deaths, increased air pollution, and accelerated the melting of glaciers in the country. The study found that India is now experiencing a collision of multiple climate hazards from January to October each year. According to the research, extreme heat is placing 80% of India's population in danger. However, the full damage remains underestimated by officials and policymakers. The report warned that extreme heat could weaken India's efforts to meet its social development goals, reducing outdoor working capacity by 15% and hitting up to 480 million people by 2050, costing the country 2.8% of its GDP by then. Lockdowns and COVID-19 pandemic have caused some 67 million children worldwide to miss routine vaccinations between 2019 and 2021, warns UNICEF. Of these children, 48 million didn't receive any routine vaccines at all, increasing the likelihood of measles and polio outbreaks. Vaccine coverage declined in 112 countries, taking it to 81%, the lowest since 2008, thereby causing significant concern. The vaccine rate's decline could be a product of other crises, including climate change, food insecurity, and conflict. The report warns governments in countries to increase financing for immunization and prioritize catch-up vaccinations for those who missed their shots. Vaccine confidence has decreased in 52 out of 55 surveyed countries, a worrying warning signal amidst political polarization, decreased trust in governments, and misinformation. Singapore is losing international talent due to rising rental prices, with some expats reporting an increase of up to 80%. The surging prices have been blamed on a range of factors, including a pandemic-caused shortage of housing supplies, strong demand from companies and talent relocating to the city, and China's crackdown on private industry in Hong Kong. While 7 in 10 foreign and local businesses are ready to relocate staff if costs do not decrease, Singapore's stable political climate, pro-enterprise environment, extensive global network, education and healthcare standards, and quality of life continue to make it an attractive destination. Tragedy struck in Yemen's capital Sana'a, as 78 people were killed in a crush while waiting for a charitable donation of about $10. The incident occurred as merchants were handing out the donation in the final days of Ramadan, and hundreds of people crowded into a school in the Bab al-Yemen district. While the reasons for the crush are not clear, witnesses reported that armed Houthis fired into the air to control the crowd, hitting an electrical wire that caused panic. This disaster sparked nationwide anger and highlights the ongoing conflict in Yemen, which has led to one of the world's worst humanitarian crises. The U.S. Department of Interior grounded its fleet of drones over concerns that China could use the unmanned aircraft for spying. Despite warnings that the ban might increase security risks, the ban could also hamper efforts to battle wildfires, according to the documents, months before officials reported the restrictions were making firefighting more difficult and dangerous. The grounding of drones would force the department to rely on contractors ill-equipped to guard against cybersecurity risks. U.S. President Joe Biden has continued efforts to restrict Chinese companies, ramping up trade and tech wars with China that began under former President Donald Trump. For the past 5 days, Khartoum, the capital of Sudan, has been in the throes of a battle between Sudanese troops and paramilitary forces, rendering the city without power, water, or essential medical services. Efforts to institute a ceasefire have been unsuccessful, leaving residents to worry about dwindling food supplies and their safety. Hospitals have been looted and aid workers targeted as well. The situation has shut down the UN's work in the country and risks drawing in Sudan's neighbors, creating a crisis where people are being forced into lockdown in 40-degree weather during an already challenging time. Yemen has been in a state of conflict since the 1990s, with the current crisis beginning in 2015 when Saudi Arabia intervened in the conflict. The conflict has seen the country slide into starvation, with a partial blockade being imposed on the country, leading to widespread hunger. The conflict has seen violence continue in the region, with a truce and a troop withdrawal from Hodeidah being agreed upon in 2018. But implementation has been slow. The U.S. recently revoked the terrorist designation placed on the Houthis, and a truce deal was agreed upon in April 2022, with hopes that a permanent ceasefire deal could be negotiated. Sana'a University students walk through Change Square every day, but the atmosphere is different now than during the 2011 uprising that called for an end to Ali Abdullah Saleh's rule. The Arab Spring had taken the region by storm, and millions of Yemenis marched for equality, a stronger economy, and democracy. Salim Ghalib, a former university student, remembers the optimism he felt at the time and his hopes for a brighter future. However, the country has since become embroiled in a civil war and the world's largest humanitarian crisis. Despite despair and uncertainty about Yemen's future, Abdul Salam Muhammad, the head of Abad Studies and Research Center, says that the Yemeni people will rise again and retake the helm. In the latest installment of What's Your Money Worth, we meet Abdullah Ali and his wife Arwa Ahmed, not her real name because privacy is important. The couple, who work as a day laborer and part-time domestic worker respectively, navigate the cost of living crisis with their 5 kids in tow. Their household income for December was 95,000 Yemeni riyals, which may sound like a lot, but with the economic struggles in Yemen, the family needs to be able to live on $106.20 per month just for food. Despite the challenges, Abdullah and Arwa managed to make it work with monthly expenses totaling 93,000 Yemeni riyals. It's a reminder that for so many around the world, financial stability is a daily struggle.